We are here, Kirstin. It was so great to talk to you last year. Last time we were on stage, we were at Build. We were with 4 other people.
Yes.
Now we're talking with you solo because you've gone solo officially.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Why did you feel like now is the right time to do this?
I just felt really great, like confidence-wise, and I think it was just really time to take advantage of the opportunities that I'm given. And I was just really excited, and I feel like I was always a little too nervous and a little too shy. So, I've just been growing as a person, as an artist every day, and so it was just the right time. I'm glad I waited,
Yeah. Well, it wasn't too long ago that we had Mitch and Scott here.
Yes,
And
yeah.
they were a lot of fun. What was the reaction when you said, okay, you guys are doing your own thing, now I'm going to do my own thing too now?
I mean, I think we all knew that we're all doing projects like on our own. We just never I feel like, super question what everyone's doing individually. It's kind of, we're already like a group with Pentatonix, and so what everyone does individually, it's kind of like you do your thing. But yeah, I was just excited, and I'm always inspired to hear like the group and how different their music is, and you can definitely see a different side of them that's so uniquely them and their music. And so I kind of just wanted to like find that for myself,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's very different than what we hear in Pentatonix. It's full-on music behind it. What was the approach when you went into the studio? Okay, I'm going to be writing and recording these songs, and this is what I want to do with it.
I honestly went in there, and I didn't have like any like preset notion of what I wanted it to be. I was so nervous in my first writing session because the ones for Pentatonix previously are kind of daunting because you have to go in and you're like, well, we can't add too much because it has to be a cappella, and we want it to be poppy, we want it to maybe be on the radio. You know what I mean? There's so many kind of like laws or rules of what you kind of expect it to be. And with this, I had no expectations. I kind of just went in, and the team that I was writing with was really, really amazing, and it was really organic, and the first song we wrote was Naked, and it came together so quickly. It was so inspiring that it just like lit the creative fire within me, and I was just so pumped to continue. And just at the end, it was just the sound kind of formed like just through the writing process, and it was all pretty much under the same umbrella by the end.
What would you describe the sound as personally?
I think it lives in like a dark pop, dreamy electronic kind of realm. I know, I like very like deep, moody things. And so I feel like my music is kind of like deep and moody.
Deep and moody, I like it.
Just like me. So,
do you ever get deep and moody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know. I also like, I would be describing like video treatments and like my idea of like how I saw the album and the journey and whatever to my fiance, and I'd be like, do you get that, like by the videos, like are you following? And he was like, absolutely not. He was like, you are thinking very deeply into this, and I was like, okay, darn.
I'm going with it anyway.
But I feel like what I want to share my journey, and I've always been very open about sharing my experiences. But I also like wanted everyone to kind of come up with their own, like based on the songs. I feel like that's also really important. And so, yeah, I hope it did a combination of both.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. So a song like Break a Little, what was your inspiration behind that song?
Well, Break a Little, I feel like was that first moment where I was like in a relationship, and I just kind of like, it was the first like, I guess more serious relationship, and I felt kind of lost and confused. And I think like initially, when you're growing up and you're trying to find yourself, and like someone likes you, and you're, I guess, kind of like inspired by that relationship, and you like feel like you need to like be something, or maybe you're not enough of something, or you're not, you're trying to figure out like what that is, and inherently you should just be you, but I think that's kind of like a learning journey. I definitely had to learn that as well. I'm like such a people pleaser. So yeah, I feel like it's just kind of like that like lost, really sensitive moment, and I've always wanted to write a song like that as well, where it's like the production is very like dancey and vibey, but the content is sad.
Well, it's a nice juxtaposition,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally.
I always like that kind of content when it's like a, upbeat music, but down lyrics on some level.
Yeah, me too.
What about the song All Night?
Kind of in the same realm of that. I kind of like it because it kind of has a double meaning with the words, like thinking of someone, or like if they're like, are they physically there, or are you imagining in your head you wish they were there? And it's still kind of in that headspace of like trying to figure it out, like not knowing what you want, you know? Which I feel like everyone feels at some point.
Were you hoping that a lot of this would be relatable, and have you, what were you hoping to do with that? Yeah, the relatability of it all.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's I feel like I keep describing my story, my journey as kind of like a coming of age confidence journey, but I feel like everyone kind of has to go through that, and especially in this day and age where there's so much social media and so many things that you feel like you have to like live up to. It's like very hard. Yeah. It's much harder than I feel like even when I was a teenager. I'm like stressed out for everyone else. But yeah, I love Sarah Bareilles, and I always used to relate to her songs so much, and they got me through so much. I remember in high school I would just like keep all her songs on repeat, and I just think that's so incredible about music, is that when you are struggling with something or you can't put something into words, maybe in the situation or in person, like you have that song, and that song is kind of what like aids you through that time. And so if any of my music ever would relate to anyone else or help anyone or be like, wow, that's what I'm feeling, and I couldn't say it, but now I can like dance and vibe, you know, then I'm happy with that.
Where do you get your confidence from? Because you said you were shy at one point, and you know you feel like you've grown confident in the last several years.
Yeah. I mean, I think a big key thing for me, I have like really amazing friends and family that really lift me up. Like my fiance is really amazing, and I was always really inspired by him and how confident he was. I was like, wow. I was like, you can, whatever you set your mind to, you literally go and do it. And that's like very inspiring. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Which sounds so simple, but I also feel like a big thing for me was like acceptance in terms of like myself, what I like about myself, what I don't like about myself, what I've done, you know, all the good and the bad. I think that was really key, and loving myself for it regardless, and just striving to be better, you know. And I just love like working hard and learning so much, and I feel like that instills confidence in me too.
What did you learn through the process of recording this first EP?
A lot. I feel like I learned a lot about myself. It was like very therapeutic in a way. I just think it's really fascinating coming from a cappella to go into a world where you kind of have endless possibilities with the production. And so I've been writing with a bunch of new people as well, and I feel like I like scoot my chair directly behind the producer and like watch them, because it's just so fascinating. It's so different. But I think it's great. And I love that I can I feel like re-motivated and re-inspired to like pursue anything in this industry. You know, there's like always stuff to learn, so it's great.
You mentioned Sarah Bareilles before.
Yes.
Who else inspired this new album?
I love James Blake, and I always say Sarah Bareilles. I've always admired her for how she expressed herself in her songs, and James Blake was the guy that kind of first moved me with his music and production. It didn't even need words. It's just the musicality was just like so stunning to me. And then I feel like I was thinking of this the other day. I think like voice styling wise, I really look up to or admire Amy Lee from Evanescence and Chino Moreno from Deftones. They both have like a very like airy, dreamy kind of quality to their voice that I would like to have.
Well, your voice is pretty amazing too. What do you do to kind of keep it in check?
Drink a lot of water and rest a lot. And I mean, you kind of know what's good for you at the time. Like I have really bad allergies, so some places I go, I like know like I can't have any dairy, and I try not to go outside, and you kind of just have to listen to your body. But yeah, as much water and sleep as possible, and just, you know.
What were you thinking about before you released the record, saying, okay, people know me from Pentatonix, but this is me, just my debut, you know, what will fans think? And what has been the reaction so far?
I was excited. It was crazy because it's been like such a long time coming, just because I started writing it when I was on tour. So it didn't come out like immediately right after, you know, it's just been like, I feel like it's been around forever. And so when I remember the week of release, I saw a tweet from someone in a different country that was like, oh, 20 hours until I get to hear it. And that was kind of the moment where I was like, oh my gosh, it's really happening. It's really coming out. I was like, it like made my heart like pound. I was like, wow. But I feel like the reaction has been great. I mean, I hope you guys like it. Huh? Yeah, and I know it's a departure from Pentatonix purely because that's a cappella, but I would hope that people would know that it's me and what I want to say in my music. So
There's like an electric pop sound to it, even the dark and moody. What inspired you to kind of go that route with some of the songs?
Honestly, it was so natural. Like we just kind of like started writing, and that's what came out. So yeah.
It was easy.
Happens.
Easy. So with Pentatonix, I know you guys are going on tour later this year. Can you tell us what to expect? Because you're going to be without one band member, essentially.
Well,
yeah.
he's
going to be on tour.
He's on
with you?
tour. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
he's on tour with you guys. Okay, so Avi.
Yeah.
He'll be on tour with you guys. And then what
Yes.
happens on tour and then what happens after?
I mean, we're just gonna put on a great show,
Yeah.
you know, and enjoy what those shows are. We're gonna be adding in some new songs, and then we're gonna be doing some Christmas stuff after as well because we love Christmas. I mean, I don't know like how confirmed all that is, but I mean, we are always around for Christmas, so we will definitely be there.
Well, last time I talked to you guys, you were about to release your Christmas album.
Yes.
So how did that go over? And do you think you'll record more Christmas songs down the line?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I mean, we love Christmas. It's literally the gift that keeps on giving for us too. Like, it is great, and I love it just because you get to be festive and fun, and I love singing Christmas songs, and so yeah, probably every year. We'll definitely do. Don't quote me on that. If it doesn't happen one year, I'll be so sad. But yeah.
But that's the thing. Your fans are so passionate. It's funny because you're talking to them right now in the
I know.
audience.
I see.
It's
well, I see-
hilarious because like, don't quote me because I know how you guys are.
I know, I was
I
like-
know you.
They're gonna post a picture of me like doing some weird side thing and being like, "Remember when she lied and said that every year?"
But you're so conscientious.
They're
of
giggling
that.
because they know
Yeah.
that they would do that.
Can you talk a little bit about that relationship with the
Yeah.
fans and how that's grown over the years?
Yes. Now I'm trying to give like good angles so when they take, like, well, I'm just kidding. I mean, they're amazing. They're all, I feel like I'm just smiling at them and geeking. They're so amazing though. I know like, I'm sure every artist is like, I have the best fans, but we literally have the best fans. I would fight to show that we have the best fans just because, they're really loyal, and I feel like coming from a reality show too, we wanted to make sure to connect with the people that we had from there, and then we still do that today. And so I just love like getting to see everyone, and you know, it could be months or it could be years since I've seen people, but you know, you connect, and it's just a really great support system. They're just really amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're so glad you guys are here today at Build. Take me back to Kirstin as a child. You started singing very little. You were very little. At what age? What's your first memory?
Actually, I was looking back at old photos and home videos the other day, and I found one of me. You know, they used to have the little microphone that you could attach to the thing, and you can turn it on. And I made my Nana on a film recorder. Film recorder?
Yeah.
Camcorder?
Camcorder.
Camcorder.
Video cam.
On a camcorder. I was like so little. I probably was like 6 or 7, and I was like, "Hi, my name is Kirsty," and I like started listing the songs I was gonna sing, and I sang them. And then I'd be like, "And now I'm going to sing for you this." So, but I think the first like big thing I did, I sang at my mom's wedding when I was almost 8, so 7, and. Trying to make it sound older. It's like, I'm like 5'3 3/4. I always say I'm 5'4".
Hey, put it up a little.
I just bump it up. But yeah, that was like my first thing. And I listened to a lot of my mom's music when I was a kid, and Disney, of course. So
As we did, as we all did.
yeah.
You're about to get married. Congratulations.
thank you.
Have you thought? Yes. Have you thought about the music for your wedding yet?
Yes, I really want someone specific, but their manager hasn't been getting back to us, and I'm so sad. I don't want to say it because Jeremy will be like, "Don't say it." But yeah, it hasn't been figured out yet, though.
Okay.
It's still in the works.
Okay.
But I'm hoping.
So the plans are coming along okay.
Yes.
Has it been hard to kind of keep it a secret because you know you're in the public eye and people are curious?
Yes.
She's like, I'll keep it at that.
Yes, it has. Yeah. Well, initially I didn't know like a lot of people knew about it, so that when they'd be like, "Oh, your November wedding," I'd be like, "How did you know?" But I mean, that's like the power of the internet. You can literally find anything. So it's what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? We don't know the date. We don't know any location. So let's keep it at that. With your fiance, it sounds like you have a collaborative relationship with him. You mentioned earlier that you pow out with him about a song.
Yeah.
How can you talk about that process and how you support each other?
Yeah, I mean, well, I met him a season of the Sing Off after ours. And so he was a percussion major and he sang, and now he's like really smart and really brilliant. So I would always go to him for advice anyway, but now it's great because he's kind of been in both worlds as a performer and then as someone that works for the music industry now. But yeah, I feel like he's very honest with me in a good way. And we both are like very opposite in different ways. We push each other to be better. Wow. What? We push each other to be better. Wow. And yeah.
She's like, I'm going to stop talking now.
I don't know what happened there.
Well, I mean, that's a nice experience because you can have that, relationship with someone, but to be able to like also work together.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're just going by your first name. What was the thought process behind that?
I was really hoping that people would be able to say Kirstin correctly. So I was going to dumb it down to like, not dumb it down, that sounds really mean. I didn't mean it like that. I was just going to make it like one name. And then the TM is like Taylor Maldonado and like, a little cute throw.
A little throw to the rest of the name.
So yeah.
It's like Madonna.
Yeah.
It's just
Madonna's name is way cooler than mine, but I mean, I think it's cute. I like seeing it.
So you took voice lessons as a kid, right?
Yes.
How did that help you? And how do you take any lessons now? Do you still perfect? I know we talked a little bit about saving your voice.
Yeah.
But what do you do to make it awesome?
Thank you. Yes, I took voice lessons as a kid, and I want to start taking them again. I think it's always, for anyone that wants to sing, I think it's always important to take voice lessons, even when you're like, oh, I got it. There's always things you can learn. And I know I was working with a vocal coach the other day for some of my solo stuff, and he was like, do you realize that, he was like watching me intensely, and he was like, do you realize that you like kind of do this with your mouth, or that you're not opening up, or, saying all my bad habits? And I was like, yes, I do. Because I think I developed some just touring all the time with Pentatonix. It's more about, to me, like hitting the note and making sure you're staying in tune with everyone than it is about like, maybe just like singing and relaxing and being stylistic with your voice, in a way. Or maybe that's just me overanalyzing. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna get with him again and work out those bad habits. But
do you think you'll perform any of your solo stuff on tour with Pentatonix? Slip it into the set?
I don't know. What I've always loved about the group is that it's always been about the group, I think that's what makes us really strong. So I think like, we've put some of our music like in the beginning, like song mix to intro in the show, but I don't know. I'm not sure. We haven't talked about it. I know we're like all doing stuff now, so I don't know if we would, but
we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
But plans to record new music? I know you mentioned, tease the Christmas stuff, but
yes.
Aside from Christmas, as Pentatonix, will we hear some new music down the line?
I believe so.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything that will like come back to me later in a bad way.
And we know with this crowd, it probably will.
I know.
So, okay, when you're not with Pentatonix, you're not planning your wedding, what do you do to chill out, relax, kind of just be you?
I stay at home. And I just bought a house. We just bought a house last year. And so it's great. So I feel like we're constantly traveling. And so I just love being at home. And I'm the worst. I like make all my friends come to my house. I'm like, oh, come over to me. I have this, But yeah, and I just like hang out with my dogs. I have 2 dogs that I adore, and catch up on movies and just kind of chill. I've been really busy lately, and I think I really love that because I think I operate best when I'm constantly busy. So that's been good.
So that will say, okay, if we had to pick a favorite song on the new album, what would it be?
Oh, I would say, can I have 2?
Yeah, you can have 2. We have time for 2.
Okay, Break a Little or Bad Weather.
Okay, we didn't talk about Bad Weather.
Okay.
What's the story behind that track?
Bad Weather is like, personally for me, that kind of like realization of like where you're like set and comfortable with yourself, and like the realization that not everyone is going to like you, or people are always going to say bad things about you, or, not approve of you in some way. I think I was very idealistic for a long time, and I was like, positive, 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 and you'll always get it back. But the truth is you won't always get it back, but you still have to be grounded and set in who you are, and you can't let that rock you. And I think that was a lesson that I had to learn. That then when I got over that hill, I feel like has established me for who I am now and made me confident enough to come out with this music and stuff too.
I love that. I love ending our chat at that moment.
Yeah.
But I'm not letting you go just yet.
Okay.
We have some questions from the fans here. So let's start with the first one. Who's up first?
Hi.
Hi, my name is Alina Baraz, and what is like your best favorite song in the world off the album?
Off my album?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, yeah, I think Break a Little in Bad Weather, but if not, I really had fun writing See It. That's another one of my favorites. Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks. Who's next?
First
Okay,
off,
great.
hey,
Hi.
how are you?
Great, how are you doing?
First off, I just want to say on behalf of everyone here and those watching at home, thank you for all you do for us. I mean that 100%.
nice. That's
Seriously,
nice,
thank
Jeff. He's so sweet. I know. He's the greatest.
Thank you. Question, so I was following you on your blog and on Twitter while making this album. Did you have a moment where you felt like, yeah, I got this. I can do this as a solo act?
I mean, I honestly, it's just a little premature, I guess, but I was so excited after the first writing session that I think I'd gone in with such trepidation. I was like so nervous, and it had exceeded my expectations. It went so much better than I ever thought it could, and so I was like, wow, it's crazy that my mind is what blocks me so much, and that if I just go in there, 9 out of 10 times it's gonna be just fine, So I think that kind of also boosted the confidence in the direction of moving forward with all this.
Great. Thanks for that. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
We have another question in the crowd here.
Hi.
Hi.
Was this always like releasing a solo album? Was that always your main goal, or like did you just like recently come into your mind?
It wasn't necessarily my overall goal. Pentatonix wasn't planned out for me either. It stumbled upon, and it was amazing that I was able to do it and have the trajectory that had. But I had been like, oh, I'm going to move to New York and be on Broadway. That was like my goal. And so I think, I don't know, I always just want to be better as a performer and as a person. So it just kind of like transgressioned naturally into this. And I'm proud of it because I feel like I never thought that I would be able to do this and hold my own and feel so great about it, So I guess no is the answer to your question, but I'm happy that it worked out this way.
Well, the fans are too. Thank you all for your wonderful questions. Thank you for coming by
Thank
today.
you.
The EP is out now. It's called Love. Give it up one more time.